So, Farai, you were 10 when you started doing yoga. Is that right? I'm just curious about what appealed to you about the practice.
All right. So the thing is, let's get the timeline a little in place. It wasn't like when I started. I did start early, but when I started, it wasn't like I'm interested or anything. It was just one of those things where my parents were going to the institute to learn. They put my brother and I started going to the children's class, and that's about it. For a long period of time, I would just run children's class. There was nothing like I took up yoga as a child. No, I was just going to a class for the long time.
Yes.
So yeah, so
So you were going along to class because your parents were.
my parents have been going as students to the institute for a long time, and then so did we.
Yes. And there was something that appealed to you in yoga that you kept on with the practice?
Well, not really. I just went for class
Yes.
till I was, say, in children's class till 16.
Yes.
And then I was attending Prashantji's class for since then. And then actually in 98, when Guruji turned 80, there was a big celebration, and there was a children's demonstration. And I got involved into being one of the demonstrators. And I just remember the fun that we had for practicing for the demonstration. I was just about 19, and so it was a lot of fun.
Sure.
And that's the time when I kind of gotten involved in the institute a little more.
Yes.
And I was a volunteer in the function, and I was demonstrating. So that's when kind of me as an individual became or got drawn to the institute and to Guruji. And after that event, actually, back then I was kind of in a space in personal life which was, let's just say, it was a hard space to be in. And that's when Guruji actually kind of told, he knew from my mother, from my father, what my space was. And Guruji just then said that you should start practicing. So that was the kind of the turn in the story for me.
Yes, so then it was an active decision to
You
start.
know, when we say active decision, it touches so much of pride part of it. It wasn't an active decision. I was just drawn to it.
Yes.
And the person that Guruji was, the incredible person that he was, it was just a magnet pulling the iron. It was, I mean, the iron doesn't really, say, I will be drawn to. It's too much of an egoistic statement to make, and I don't even feel that way. I was just like fascinated with Guruji's art. I still am.
That seems like it was a very significant point. You were drawn like iron to this practice. It was, of course, you were going to go ahead. I'm curious about how your practice has changed from that point as practice changes over the different life stages. Can you tell me a bit about that, about how practice developed for you?
I'll give you like one story from the very beginning part of it, and let's see where it goes. When Guruji told me that you should practice, so I said, I don't know how to practice. He said, what am I here for? I'll teach you how to practice. And at that point of time, I was so consistent in being 100% inconsistent with every single thing. I played one sport for 6 months, then tried to do something else for 2 months, then something else. So nothing kind of held me together, either way we see it. And so I landed up in the practice hall, and he didn't even look at me. He just went and he was doing his own practice. So I was looking around, what is to practice? I'm looking around. So I was attending Prashantji's classes. So whatever the typical practice phase for any starting point is, that you try to recreate that class, and most often it doesn't happen. So you're kind of at kind of uncertain space of where to go, what to do, what asanas to do, am I doing correctly, not correctly, whatever. I would get bored and leave. So that happened for a period of time, and Guruji wasn't even looking at me, teaching me, telling me anything. So I was like getting even more anxious about it. Every single time that I missed a practice session, if he would see me in the evening or the next morning, he would be like, where were you yesterday? Where were you yesterday morning, evening, whatever? So for almost first 1 year, the thing that he looked at or he didn't look at is that I show up. That was the most important thing, that every single day, every single practice session that, in the institute schedule that was, I had to just show up. That was the most important part. It did not matter if I did my Trikonasana correctly, if I straightened my arms or not, if it didn't matter. What mattered the most in that period was I show up. Now I look back, and for a person who till that point wasn't consistent with anything at all, for him just to get that part out of the way was an extraordinary change for a 19-year-old to get that idea of discipline, if it's discipline. For me, it's still, I have always wondered about the word discipline. As Guruji himself has said, that the discipline has to come from within. So anything that is externally imposed is a different story. But when it becomes your own thing, you feel it differently. So that was then the first some part. Then, of course, the phase was about achieving an asana. Like, can I get, say, Urdhva Dhanurasana from Tadasana? Can I get Urdhva Dhanurasana from, do Adho Mukha Vrukshasana and drop back? Just from the floor, you do Urdhva Dhanurasana. So, can I get asanas? And that's the age, as very often Prashantji mentions about prime age practice. So when you are younger, when there are different possibilities that are naturally available to you, you go after them. So then that phase of the beginning where you are just trying to achieve asanas, get the structure of it, get the posture of it, get the almost build a thing that, it's almost, that is the phase where it's an achievement. You are trying to achieve a Kapotasana, you are trying to achieve Kurmasana, whichever asana. Then comes a phase you are like, okay, this is done, now what? So then you start looking, and by then, of course, as you said, the age has progressed, so you begin to read a little bit, you are listening to the teachings very differently. And by around that time, I was kind of assisting in Geetaji's classes. She was putting me on the platform to demonstrate. I was like slightly turning into just a class goer to practitioner phase. And so I always like to kind of put the grades of, first we are class goers, then what I call them prescribed practitioners. So you need a prescription. You tell me, I need to do standing poses for 1 minute each side. There's a sequence that is being given, timing that is being given. I follow that, so I have a prescription. But then there is the big leap where you are supposed to get lost and then find your way to become a practitioner. Then your subjective is considered, your objective is considered, and then the whole journey is changing routes. So that is the phase when I was slightly becoming teacher, or not becoming teacher, but I was beginning to look what is to conduct a class, what is to instruct in a class. So as there is in music, there is a multi levels and multi layers recording that happens, multi-track recording that happens. So different tracks opened up. So internal tracks, external tracks, some things are being absorbed, some things are being thought about. So just tracks change. And now what is practice? It's just part of life, no? How do you kind of, it's nothing alien. Like, yeah, it's not, I mean, it's part of life. Like, it's not a ritual, it's not a discipline, it's just part of being, and that's about it.
I'm interested in what you described about discovering the subjective and objective in practice, and I wonder whether you can explain a little bit more about those terms in that context, because it sounds to me as if it's something about the self and something about the object of this practice.
So if we that subjective consideration is very important. Say I have let's start from the most grossest thing. I have stiff hamstrings, I have sore back, I have some digestive thing. Let's start with the problems, because that's when we think about it. When we don't have problems, we don't even think about it. So in the good state, in the healthy state, we don't even think about it. So if we have a problem, then we are always going to address that. It's going to be a nagging condition, so much so that we can't overlook. If we can't overlook that, we are going to address that part. So that becomes my momentary objective. My hamstrings are stiff. I have cycled a lot, I have run a lot, my legs are exhausted, my legs are tired. I recover from that. So one thing is, if someone has a relationship with your asanas, that is one-to-one relationship that is being achieved. I want to stretch my hamstrings, I stretch my hamstrings, objective achieved, mission accomplished, shut shop. If that is your end point, then there isn't much to proceed with it. But if you are looking for, say, Paschimottanasana, you are stretching your hamstrings, we'll stick with that. But that is not your objective. Your objective is to, say, calm yourself down to a level which is calibrating you for living. So your practice, if that is to calibrate us, only then that kind of context will be widened. And that would be the interaction between the subjective and objective. So the momentary objective, or the temporary, short term, mid term and long term, those objectives will define how your process and procedure is going to be. At the same time, internal subjectives is a different story. So this is physical. If I'm feeling sad, if I'm feeling happy, if I'm not slept enough, again, those are subjective, internal, pertaining to me things which are non-physical but still are there. So I want to come from that, say, deficit, so to say, to a neutral point and start benefiting, so to say. So in that case, we need to figure out what are those benefits and how do we prepare ourselves to project and continue.
Sure.
Is that precisely vague? Yeah?
That makes sense.
Okay.
So it's interesting you break down these kind of stages of practice, and it was very clear you described that sort of first stage of every day, building that regularity. Would you, if you were trying to give advice, how does somebody build a practice for themselves? Would it be similar to that experience that you had? So that, no. So how would you?
Because that person is not, if that person is, say, completely contrasting and that person is extremely studious, methodical, this method may not work for that person.
Sure.
And that is what I meant by taking the leap between being a prescribed practitioner to becoming a practitioner. Because that leap is necessarily going to be their own. That leap is, there's I forgot the birds, and I love the video. I think it's in BBC Earth or something. There are birds which are born on the top of the cliff. Yeah, and as their first step, they don't eat. The parents feed them a bit, and then I think second day, third day, something, they have to really take a jump all the way down like few hundred meters, where the parents just quietly sit on the rocks waiting, and they bang on the rocks, and then they have to go in the valley to find their food and survive. And that jump is a practitioner jump. That jump is where you need to accept that you are by your own. That it can be said, it can be prescribed, but nothing is going to help. So in that sense, that leap, that jump is so individual.
Yes.
And everyone is going to have their own method.
Yes.
So I always would hesitate to say, oh, that is the formula. You cannot buy it in a supermarket and put it in the microwave and say, oh, I have delicious food ready. That platter of being a practitioner cannot be served. You'll have to make it yourself.
I think I understand what you're saying, that there's part of the process of going from being a student who attends classes to becoming a practitioner is a bit of a leap into the unknown, and that there's maybe a getting lost and finding a way through.
Yes. See, the thing is, if I may,
please,
there are always markers, and fortunately, that's where things like role of a teacher, role of that's where role of a teacher, role of a, not community in the sense of community, like just group of people, not in that sense, but those are the markers which are going to help you. You see someone, those are the roads initially which are going to help to follow a path. If you go for hill climbing, I don't know about here, but in part of the world that I come from, in summer it's dry. Okay, come monsoon, it turns so green that all walkways are gone. You can't see them, you can't trace them. Then the animals begin to go. Behind the animals, the people begin to go, and then that path is kind of, it's still not paved. It's still going to change. It's not a hard tar road, but it's a path. So then we begin to learn the path of how do I climb. Then you begin to understand the logic if you have to cross say, a stream, where how do you begin to find the spot where it's narrowest, where you can cross it over? So you learn the sense of directions, you learn to read the stars and make your observations, and based on those observations then your further journey can continue. Does that help?
Yeah, that makes sense. It makes me think that this community you talk of, like other people forging a path, or people who have forged a bit of a path, that you start to pick up elements that you can then use to somehow find a way. Yeah, it's reassuring to hear about your experience in the practice room, like working out what to do. I remember that very much being my experience, and looking at other people and seeing other people's practice and wanting to copy.
Yeah, if I tell you another story, as a matter of fact, the first day I went to practice, Guruji was doing his own thing. I see these two kind of elderly ladies, almost they would be probably 20 years older than I am. So those were the only two other faces that I knew. So they were lying down in Supta Virasana. So I was like, okay, that's probably what practice is supposed to be. So I took a thick mat, I took a bolster, I took a blanket, and I went to Supta Virasana. And then Prashantji came and he looked at me and he was like, what are you doing? So I said, I'm practicing. He said, what are you sleeping with these old ladies? Go and do whatever, 50 ropes or something. And so I started doing ropes, and it was all hurting, and I had no idea how to continue. And then by then he was in rope Shirshasana, Prashantji was in rope Shirshasana, and he had his bandage on. So after I finished those ropes, these ladies were in Supta Baddha Konasana. So I go and lie down next to them in Supta Baddha Konasana. And then Prashantji comes down from Shirshas, says, again you are sleeping, go to this. So I had no idea. So then it was like bits and pieces. Someone is telling me something. Again, I was getting prescriptions randomly. Then I don't know if you have been to India, no? So you have seen the hall. So then I would like just sit on the platform and look at all those photos. I'm like, I want to try doing that. I was like, how do you, like, one leg is here, one hand is here, what exactly is happening? And then I started doing that, and then someone actually said, there is a book called Light on Yoga, right? You can refer to that. You'll find the steps to go to those things. So as I said, I can't prescribe this as the way, but for me that random discoveries were the most fun part. Like you don't know where you're heading.
Yes.
I was just a couple of weeks back, I was in a space on an island, and I was talking to a person who's lived there for 40 years. And 2-3 things that we spoke about, and she just said, let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. And in that moment, I was like, I had that epiphany part. I don't know if it's modern life, city life, educated brain, what it is, I don't know. But the compulsive predictability that we look for, as in, I want to know what is happening in my life. Vis-a-vis a person who's closer to nature is going to be in that zone of, let's see what happens. So when I go to Paschimottanasana and I want to bring my hypertension down by so many points and achieve my blood pressure, I want to control. So the idea of being in control vis-a-vis being there, because in nature we are not in control. We are not in control of our life. If I get a heart attack right now and pop it, I can't control it. But the idea of predictable control living, we went to the Van Gogh Museum and people are standing, doing the things what they have already seen on social media, and they want to do that. So the way they would stand next to a photograph or Van Gogh painting, I saw people standing in or not standing in front of sunflowers. So we are not there to appreciate. We are pre-deciding the life experience and trying to achieve that. And isn't that bizarre? Like, before actually living it, we want to know.
Yes, and it sounds like the complete opposite of what you're describing in practice.
It's supposed to be, because let's see what happens. Let's see what happens. How do I already know?
Yes, and it's a discovery. It's this process of finding out.
Yeah.
Yes. I suppose that analogy you made and bringing in modern life, it's interesting to consider that there's this ongoing appeal of yoga practice, that there is something that this ancient practice seems to address in modern living. Does that make sense to you, in what it is that we're finding in going back to a science that has been around for so many years?
Yes.
And that seems almost more reliable than some of these technologies that offer.
I'm not in a position to make a comment about that and this. I'm just trying to find the center of our living without being self-centered. So if we can find that part where, I'm engaging with many a times if you read about, or if you read Guruji's teachings, it was incredible that his life, that's what he said, right? That I wanted to be a person who lives every human duty and still pursue yoga. He always said that, the idea of, not isolating, but kind of taking a sannyas and going away from living, if I dare say, almost avoiding your responsibilities. Once you sign up, say, I have signed up to be married, I have signed up to have children, so there are certain responsibilities, duties of natural living, and which are going to challenge me. Like the children are always going to challenge me in the ways that I have never known before. The point is, how do we find our balance of things? One of the most important things Prashantji always emphasizes about neutrality, that part where in the most difficult parts or the most joyous parts, can we in that sense find our center where we don't lose our cool, so to say, is something that we are looking to get there.
Yes.
And in that, then asana pranayam in our system become beautiful training grounds, to solace grounds, to recovery ground, to that couplet will play such an incredible role to keep calibrating us.
Yes.
So I don't want to get into like the modern life is like this and this is the life. Otherwise, we go to the jungle. We have that option. We don't do that. So let's not let's not just point fingers and say, oh, this is bad and this is good. Let's not have this. I mean, funnily enough, even for digital media, let's not get into the 1 and 0. Not black and white. Like
stay analog. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. And we talked a bit about life stage and practice changing, and I'm curious about that change, becoming a family, becoming a parent, becoming a family man, and then what practice as part of that life. Maybe you've answered a little bit about the role that it takes. You were saying about keeping maybe the balance. Is that the role? Does it shift?
Yeah. I mean, there's no. Say, I don't think my relationship with practice is to get anything out of it. It's not like you go to a restaurant because you want to eat that food. You know, if you're going to, say, an Italian restaurant, you are looking for, like, you don't say going to Italian restaurant, say, let's see what we get. Okay, there is a particular thing that you're looking for. And practice is not like that. Practice is not like that. When you're going for your practice space, you're actually, you can't decide, like, today I want to have this sunset. Today I want this arrangement of the clouds while the sun is setting. Practice is that space where you're sitting on the cliff and saying, oh, there was too much haze today and the sun disappeared, but we don't call if there are too many clouds and we don't see the suns going behind a clearer kind of horizon. Now, that itself is a funny combination of words when you are saying clear horizon, because horizon itself is is an imaginary thing. But when the sun disappears, you don't look forward for the sun to go behind the clouds. You're not satisfied. But in practice phase, that's going to happen over and over and over and over again. Like, sometimes you are going to see astonishing evening, and sometimes you are going, it just gotten dark. What happened? Can we be okay with that?
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. This is a slightly different direction, but I'm aware Gita Ji was really ahead of her time in looking, I mean, in so many ways, but in a way that really seems significant to me, in looking at women and women's health. And I'm curious, as a teacher, if you're approaching a men-only group, would you think about the teaching in a different way for a group of women, a group of men, or a mixed group?
Yes and no. So there are stereotypical men things, there are stereotypical female things that are considered. I'm not saying that that's how they are, but there are considerations. In the earlier part, when I was talking about that subjectivity, part, if that is considered in the most sensible manner, those things will manifest differently. Say the spice level that I can handle and you can handle. I'm again going with stereotypical thing that Indians eat spicy and probably you don't eat as spicy. For me, what is tasty, you may find just that spicy. In the physiological realm of things, if someone is going through a particular condition where you are not able to handle that spice level, in that case, you want to either avoid it or mitigate it. Those are those subjective kind of frameworks. In that framework, if needs to be dealt with, then I, as a matter of fact, respect the idea that that is being considered, rather than saying everyone is same, everyone is equal, let's just, play it. A tree also needs a, say a, I don't know, I'm not well versed with trees and plants, but why strawberries grow in a particular setting better? Why certain things which are tropical, you wouldn't be able to have them in the, I don't know, the somewhere on the South Pole or North Pole, because the environment needs to be conducive. And I mean, now with money, this is where I get bothered. With money, I almost dare feel that we have become so arrogant that we can have, in the desert, we want to have, skiing available.
Yeah.
I just came from
From Italy. Ah.
oh, it's like,
Yeah.
that's where we kind of are unnatural.
So do I understand in that perhaps the role in teaching is to create this right environment for the students, for wherever kind of health or ability to flourish can happen?
It's
No, it's
two
not.
stories,
Yeah.
or two parts, not
Yes.
two stories, two parts. Part number one, I have always asked myself to do a fill in the blanks. A teacher is ... fill in the blanks. So sometimes I feel a teacher should be a... So what is the typical understanding, if I get it correctly, a teacher is a leader. A teacher is a guide. A teacher is a shepherd. The kind of who's kind of pushing everyone together and in a direction, and you're leading them. Some of the things that I think to myself, a teacher is a matchmaker. If I say, Melissa, meet Uttanasan. Uttanasan, meet Melissa. And then it's actually up to you, where I need to, as we go along, have to step back and back and back, and you need to have your own relationship going on. A completely different setup. If I am a matchmaker, I don't keep on going on their meeting, their date, for the second and the third and the fourth and fifth time. I can't say, now you look into the eyes of this person, now you look into this eyes of this person, now suggest that next time we meet, we go for a candlelight dinner. That's not a job of a matchmaker. You just introduce each other and you move out of it.
Yes.
So I wouldn't say a role of a teacher can be just is one thing. It's day to day going to vary and change.
Yes.
And another thing that I was just going to that's one part, and what I'm thinking, if I should tell the story or not. When I started conducting beginners classes, okay, after 2 years I was really frustrated. Everything that I was saying was sounding so out of place. I was like, I should not be talking anything to these people who are standing in front of me. And I was like, it doesn't make any sense. And then I went and told Guruji. I said, Guruji, I want to stop teaching. So he just looked at me and he said, teaching what? So I said, I teach the beginners classes. He said, yeah, but teach what? So I said, Guruji, Tuesday, Friday mornings 7 to 8, I teach the... And he just leaned back and he said, oh, those, who said you are teaching? You are just instructing. So I was like, huh? So he was like, those you are just conducting the classes and instructing the people. You're not teaching them anything. You may become a teacher after 25, 30 years. You may. And
Yeah.
I mean, so yes, as a label, as a designation, as a label, we like labeling stuff. So as a label, you call yourself teacher. It's a different story.
Yes.
So,
yeah, I see what you're saying, and it sounds like there isn't a point to be reached in teaching, or maybe there's a bit of a journey in teaching. I'm thinking this weekend you're going to be teaching a large group of students.
Teaching ? Conducting ? Instructing ?
Yes, matchmaking perhaps. This large group of students, who most of whom you won't know.
Yeah.
And you're going to be teaching for 3 days. It's quite intensive. Is there any kind of preparation that you make for something like that, or you've been teaching for many years now? Maybe it's more intuitive. I'm curious.
Bit of both. Bit of both. Yeah, I mean, as you said, that I don't know anyone, like, or maybe very few who have come to Pune regularly, who I have seen, and like that. But
yeah.
See, one of the things that I will take the opportunity to point out is, if we look at the setup of a workshop is very different than the setup of a regular class. When you sign up again, one of the things that I request people when they come in at the institute, the classes are from June to April. So when people sign up for a class, they sign up for 11 months. That's our setting. I request people to not have an opinion for nearly first 3 months. Just come after week after week, week after week, week after week, and try to keep that opinion at bay. And that's what happens with us at other times also. Because we form the opinion and we kind of put it in the stone and say, this is it. It may not be. On a day, I can have an off day. On a day, the student can have an off day. No, we don't know. Give it a little time before you say that. Currently, we are almost compelled to like, share, subscribe. We want to, our world is now, this is biggest duality.
Yes.
Our current biggest duality, if Patanjali would have to speak about duality, it is like or dislike. We need to, every single thing that we face, we have to hit the like button or dislike button. We don't have to.
Yes.
We don't have to. That third possibility is there, that we don't have to like or dislike. We can still look at it. And it can be, I mean, I forgot the, there was a stand-up comedian, and I forgot the name of the stand-up comedian, but I heard a brilliant line. He said, back in the day, people were looking for love. Now people are just looking for likes. It's a brilliant line, and it's so true. So when there's such a space of workshop, I have always thought that I need to, so a role play that I like to say what I do in such a place of workshop. I would want to take you in the gallery of Guruji's artworks, and how you have that audio guide.
Yes.
So I would be the audio guide in the art gallery.
That's great.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's what I would try to do.
Yes, that's a brilliant analogy, because you're looking at these for the vast majority of people, unachievable things. And yet there's a way to be able to connect.
But that's the thing, it's not to be achieved.
Yeah.
It's not to be achieved, it's to appreciate.
Yeah.
It's to appreciate. And that's the brilliant part of it. Like, I don't need to achieve.
Yes.
Say, if I see a painting, I don't need to achieve it, but I can still appreciate it.
Yes. And actually, with practice, you experience it. So you're appreciating, but you're appreciating in many, many different ways.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Yes, that makes a lot of sense. I'm curious about teaching. You've been teaching for some decades now. I mean, I know that still makes you quite a young teacher in the Iyengar world, but where are the satisfactions? Where are the surprises, if there still are? What kind of form do they take for you?
In that space?
Mm-hmm. Maybe if I put it slightly differently.
Yeah,
like
please.
If you if you come out of a class, you're like, there's something that feels good. What's happened? Or that you said sometimes maybe there's something for you that's going well, something for the students that's going well. I'm curious about that sense of, yes, there's something that's happened that has been not about achievement, but something where the process has been.
The thing is, I may be a little adamant to the thing, but in the classroom setup, in a continuous classroom setup, and what we were talking earlier, be it on Zoom, be it on live, in any form, a classroom setup is not a product, and a product doesn't need, or if it's not a product, it doesn't need a stamp. The moment we are putting a value to this, was it successful?
Yeah.
Who's to say?
Mm-hmm.
Is it complete? Who's to say?
Mm-hmm.
Because these are continuous things.
Yes.
You can't say, oh, it's done. But I mean, the painter, one of the most curious cases for me is a painter or a musician or, writers, or, when they have to put a full stop and they have to sign off. So every session that you would go through, be it a regular class, be it a workshop, whatever, there's always that part of you which is going to almost struggle and fight with it, like, oh, this didn't happen, that didn't happen, or this was like, that went out all right. These are reflections about the craft of presentation, and one must go through that. I mean, that is very important. Like Guruji speaks about, teacher or conducting classes in Ashtadhala Yogamala, other places. If you read in Tree of Yoga, what Guruji is written on teachers is a brilliant piece. It's a small piece, but it's a brilliant, brilliant piece about what is his idea, what is his vision about, what a teacher is supposed to be. And I mean, we were doing some reading sessions, and we sat together and read that part, and I was like, let's just have those markers, indicators, and try to see how would you rate yourself on that as a teacher when you're standing, when you're taking that stand. So in certain sense, it's for me very, as I said, very. I might be too adamant about it, but I can't make like a call on it. Like it was successful. What's what? It's not a trophy that you can achieve, win.
It's very consistent what you're saying, because there's a sense that this is such a process, and that practice for you at this stage is now, it's not a separate part of life, it's not a discipline. So there isn't really a beginning and end.
No.
It continues.
Yeah. I mean, in Indian philosophy, that is one of the things that have come, no? The idea of cyclic vis-a-vis linear is so probably ingrained in our psyche that it's cyclic. Like, yeah.
Yes. But it feels like a real conflict with a lot of our experience, which has to be kind of this goal-oriented and, as you say, linear.
Yeah.
So there's a struggle that I feel. Okay, I want to know where are we getting to, or So it's actually refreshing to kind of have that frustrated in some ways by what you're saying.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if this is diversion or elaboration. In the Van Gogh Museum, we were looking at his self-portraits. Now, that is something that has fascinated me always. Like, when people do self-portraits, it's fascinating, and you do it again and again and again and again. And many a times in the art field, they say that, anything that you are doing is an expression of yourself. And that's so brilliant. So in certain sense, it's that part where you're kind of constantly changing how your entire being is and how your interaction with it is. How your relationship and interaction with that is. That's kind of the fantastic part about it.
Yes. Yeah. It's like constantly shifting and trying to capture it when it's not possible.
Yeah.
Yes. I have a memory of practicing in class. I don't recall who was teaching in Pune, and Guruji was still alive, and he was practicing in the corner. And at one point, and so he was, I think he was, he was in his 90s at this stage, and he took over the class.
Yeah.
He was from the corner.
Yeah.
With 90 people, 90 students or so. I'm just so curious about what it was like to be teaching in Guruji's presence like that. I'm curious about your experience of teaching in Pune.
It's such a joyous thing. It's such a joyous thing. Like, one is, it's a simple fact that he just knows. Not knows better than you, he just knows. So you are completely free. And this is what I think, like, the best part about being in front of them, all three, is the fact that you don't need to pretend to be smart. You know what you know, you don't know what you know, and both are perfectly fine. There is no reason to impress them. The moment, again, we are trying to impress someone, we are going to try to be something that we are not. Why bother? Why bother? You just be yourself. And yes, they know better than you, as a matter of fact. Why try to compete that? Why people get threatened is because there's sense of competition. Because you are trying to impress upon, like, see how much I know. But you don't. It's fine. Or I know this much. Okay, that's fine.
Yes.
In certain sense, we are constantly walking on that thin rope. See, as a statement, As a statement, if I say, I know, there is a problem to it. At the same time, if I make a statement, I don't know, that's also not true. We are constantly walking on that thin thing. And we are falling either on this side or on that side. So to teach in front of them, and first of all, when Guruji was at the back, and either Abhijata or me or all of us who took turns, I mean, all the teachers at the institute, we have done that in front of Guruji or Geetaji. And with Guruji, it was a very simple thing because we were just the loudspeakers. So what he would say, we had to like project it, loud speak it, not even elaborate it, loud speak it. So that's the easy part. Like, okay, now in the trade, in the learning of trade, if someone who's working under a carpenter or who's working under a potter, they pick up the craft. It's not really, now children, have a look, this is called canvas. Now we will take this canvas and this is an aisle. We are going to place it this way. There's no instruction. They pick it up. So when you pick something up, it's a different thing. So with them, with both of them, Guruji and Geetaji, with respect to teaching or conducting or the class arrangement. So I remember one of the first things that I was told to speak out, speak out, had nothing to do with any asana, had nothing to do with pranayam, nothing at all. What I was told to speak out, the first thing, is just get the mats arranged for Sarvangasana. That's all. I had to just 4 mats per set, 3 people 1 set, make straight lines, 3 rows, head this way. That's all I had to speak out. Now there is no difficulty about that. There's nothing majorly that can go wrong. So, I mean, this is fascinating for me to see the mentoring process that happened with us in Pune. Because for us, we were told things to organize. First, I think 1 year nearly, in therapy class when I started going as an assistant, the first nearly 1 year, the only thing I had to do is get props and get them fast. Get props and get them fast. Get a blanket, get a brick, get that thing. So you needed to know and start reading, okay, this is the situation. So would I need 1 blanket or 2 blankets or 3 blankets? Would I need a wooden brick or a foam brick or a play brick or a semi-curved brick? What am I supposed to get? And they would tell us, Guruji or Geetaji would tell us that get 3 blankets. Okay. So next time when you hear blanket, you see the situation. So you learn to read from those situations, which is a very different live process experience.
Yeah.
So if you're, say, helping someone, say, in Bharadvajasana, how do you hold a person in Bharadvajasana? If that person is sitting on a chair, where do you stand? How do you hold? Are you supposed to, now, if that person has a neck issue or a digestive system thing or a diabetes, or if you're making a person with diabetes, Bharadvajasana, back problem Bharadvajasana, lower back problem Bharadvajasana, neck problem Bharadvajasana. So in that case, how would you help? You can't write it. You can't learn it from a presentation. It's I think the term is hands-on.
Yes.
It's a hands-on process.
Yes.
so for us, I mean, even now, it's one of the things that I dearly miss them for. It's like that thing cannot be replicated.
You miss the watching, the responding to what they're showing you, or you miss the freedom of knowing that they know everything, or that they know.
Both.
Yeah.
Both. I mean, see, it's also completely selfish thing to wanting to have them till ever and ever after. It's
Yes.
like, you don't need to be worried about. It's about that thing.
Yes.
But at the same time, um, it's some extraordinary thing to look at someone who's master of their art, at work. And yeah, I feel extremely lucky to have gotten that chance.
Yes. And it strikes me there was just such a profound generosity in giving everything and sharing everything, the knowledge, but also the life,
Yeah,
the home,
yeah,
it's really remarkable.
yeah. I mean, yeah.
The thing is, it's interesting.
In words,
Sorry.
it's one thing to say, serve the humans to serve the God. It's another thing to really, really just do it. And they were that. They were always there. They were always there for anyone who was willing to. They would put so much more than it. And this is, I think, one of the most extraordinary things about all three of them, Guruji, Gitaji, Prashantji. They would never disown you. They always gave with an open, I mean, it's an open door. They were always there for you. Even now, like, if you want to talk to Prashantji, you just need to, like, I want to talk to you, and he'll tell you tomorrow, day after, today, whenever possible. They are so approachable. They're so approachable, available, and willing. It's not just that they're approachable, they're willing. They will put in, and that's fascinating. They were so willing. Like, you want to try something, let's do it. Let's see what happens. If you're in puzzle, they'll help you to sort it out. If you're in a muddle, they'll help you to get out of it.
I feel I have to ask now, then there feels like a kind of responsibility on teachers who've learned directly from them. Does that feel like a responsibility? Does it feel like a kind of just a natural extension of what you want to be doing? Is there a sense of continuation and what that...
I think it's not because of them or without them. All of us in the role plays that we sign up for, that role play itself has that responsibility that would come. As I said, like, when I choose to be a parent, there are certain things that come with it which I try to figure out.
Sure.
And I mean, of course, it makes a difference that having seen them as examples, it should only give you joy to do it in your own limitations and limits and capacity, obviously.
Yes.
And we keep on pushing limitations. Like, limitations is something that you want to overcome. The logical limits cannot be crossed, but limitations is something that you're kind of, pushing your boundary further. You're pushing your capacity to grow.
Yes. I'm curious about the experience of teaching in different places and what you see in the appetite of students, because it seems like there's a lot of people wanting to learn around the world.
Yeah. I think one of the brilliant things about Guruji's teachings is, at least when it comes from me to express to, the only, I'll tell you a story. So, we are sitting in the library, and one group of people came somewhere from outside Pune, and they were showing Guruji an album. So they were like, see Guruji, we have taken the measurement of all the props from here, and we have made the trestle also, we have the Viprit Dandasana bridges, we have 8 of them like you have it here, we have Viprit Karni boxes, and we have made the grill exactly the way you have made here, and they kept on showing that, different things. And Guruji very patiently kept on seeing the whole thing, and he said, very nice, very good thing. And when the album was over, he said, see, we have recreated your hall there. So Guruji just said, very nice, but do you have any students who are willing to learn? It's like, the curiosity is all, I mean, that's the only qualification or requirement, not qualification, requirement.
Yeah.
And I mean, that was the brilliance of Guruji, no? Anyone who's curious will like, let's do it. So it's fascinating for me, and it's amazing. I mean, I had gone somewhere recently. It was a small town somewhere, and I just saw a small board, like really small. It was like probably like 15 centimeters by 8 centimeters kind of thing. Small, tiny thing, just with the institute logo and Natarajasan and Iyengar yoga, just that. And I had to like peep in, and I just peeped in, and there were 4 people there. And I just heard this person teaching, and she said, she was talking about Guruji says, and she was teaching Suptapadangushtasana, and there was a small statue of Patanjali, there was 4 photos of Guruji. It was tiny space. I get goosebumps now. It's the fact that one person's work, without any hoo-ha, without any social media thing, over so many years has reached to such corners of the world. And that is helping people to take their day ahead. And that's fascinating.
Yes.
It's incredible that they want to do this, and that takes them to move their day ahead. And it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
Yeah, I agree. That seems like a good moment to end on.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.